The mystery continues. The mystery deepens, and we will get the word of an expert, a man who was the former security chief for El Al Airlines. Of course, that's Israel's airline, and nobody in the world has better security than El Al. So we'll talk to him about what he thinks might have happened to that jet. Also, I want to let you know that Russia's Vladimir Putin, remember the guy that John Kerry apologized to yesterday and about the sanctions that were instituted by Barack Obama? He said, oh, this isn't about you, Vladimir. Nothing personal. Anyway, Russia's Vladimir Putin has signed a treaty to annex Crimea, and that's been done. And, you know, the stock market way up today because they don't believe that Vladimir Putin is going to use violence to further his goals for a bigger Russian empire. Of course, that remains to be seen, whether or not he will undertake that. Then we have an interesting story here, very interesting story. Are secret Clinton White House tapes lost to history? This is from ABC News, and they say among the thousands of pages of documents released by the Clinton Library, two had tantalizing notation at the top, quote, tape 1, side 1. And so now they're asking, are there any tapes to go with the notes that quote from tapes? And for instance, and by the way, the answer is no. The Clinton Library says these cassettes were made by staff and people who had to write things. It gave them a better idea of what to write. But these cassette tapes, they don't know where they are. How very convenient. Maybe Sandy Berger. Hey, could someone get Sandy Berger on the phone and ask him if he happened to slip some cassette tapes in his pocket? Maybe in his socks. Yeah, maybe in his underwear. Yeah, that's right. Sandy Berger. Yeah. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. Anyway, so here's some of the things that were talked about. They talked about remarks on race, frank talk about gays, and a terrible comment. Let me tell you what he said. He said that Tom DeLay was probably to blame for the notorious dragging death of a black man, okay? And Clinton admitted that talking about gays caused his poll numbers to drop, and he wished that he could advise Americans to buy shotgun shells and bottled water before the millennium and the threat of Y2K. So this would be real interesting if we could actually hear these words, but apparently it's not going to be. I'm telling you, check Sandy Berger's underwear for this stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear a soundbite. The New York Times broke a story last night on Megyn Kelly's show on the Fox News channel with regard to the airliner, and here's how it sounded.
Basically, the first turn that this plane took off of its path was done by a computer system on the plane. It was not done manually by a pilot.
What does that tell us? Let me stop you there. What does that tell us?
Now, that computer system can only do that if someone on the plane or someone shortly before the plane took off programmed that into the plane. So that means that whoever did this had to have known what they were doing with the plane. This is not just someone on the plane who grabbed control of it and took it in one direction. Whoever was on that plane that caused this to happen had to have programmed it into the plane, or it could have been programmed in before it ever took off.
All right, so there you go. Joining us now to talk about that revelation and airplane security, airline security, is a man who headed the best. Isaac Yeffet, former security chief for El Al Airlines, former deputy director of security of operations for the Israeli Foreign Ministry, and former member of the Israeli Secret Service, joins us. And Isaac, I don't know if you remember, but years and years ago on the radio, you and I had a few conversations. I thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Okay, you just heard what you just heard about the New York Times story that broke last night. You can incorporate that information if you would like, but let me start at the end, as I do with most guests on this topic. What do you think happened to the plane, sir?
Nobody knows. Everybody is speculating. And if we start to speculate, I don't know how far we can go with the story, the sad story of the 777 of the Malaysian Airlines. We know for a fact one thing, that in this flight, 2 criminals, if not terrorists, were flying with this aircraft with the 2 stolen passports, one from Italian citizen and one from Austrian citizen. They were visiting Thailand, and their passport was stolen from them. More than this, the Interpol sent to all the governments full information about these 2 stolen passports. But in Malaysia, it's not important to put it in the computer, either in the intelligence department or the security department of Malaysia, if they have security, I don't know. But the fact is, these 2 used the stolen passport. They changed what they changed, and nobody even thought for a second to stop them, to investigate them, what they have to do with this kind of stolen passport. Number 2, with them, joined them Iranian man that they said that he's businessman, but this Iranian went to purchase 3 tickets for all the 3 of them and paid cash money. Who pays cash money in the last, 20 years when he has to purchase 3 tickets for a passenger? For us, it's immediately suspicious sign. Call him, investigate what happened, why he did it. Maybe he will be found bona fide, but don't release them without checking anything. Why the intelligence of Malaysia? Why the security of the airline didn't put the names and the numbers of the passports that were stolen by these 2 criminals? Now they board the flight without any difficulties, and I am afraid that if they had a plan to hijack the aircraft, inside the aircraft they have more people to assist them, and until now we don't know what happened with this aircraft. So unfortunately, we have bad signs, but we don't have any evidence that this is what happened.
So you believe that, I guess the media, and that's who we're hearing things through, but based on the media reports, we've heard that these 2 Iranians were possibly involved in illegal trafficking, etc. But you would like to see more of the focus on those two stolen passports, passengers, and the Iranian gentleman who bought them their tickets. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. How it's possible that two guys are holding passports that were stolen from innocent people of 2 different countries, and we look at them like they look at you, at me, or me? Immediately, this kind of incident has to be investigated before they can dream to board the flight even.
Right, and that's, of course, what Israel would do, and hopefully that's what most countries would do, but that obviously was not done here. Now, let me go on, and again, I know this is all speculation, and you frowned upon speculation at the beginning, but I beg your indulgence with more speculation. So if that were the case, and if they had more help on the plane, whether it was 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, or no more help, if it was those 2, and if that's the scenario, do you believe they took that plane to land somewhere, or do you believe it's in the water somewhere?
No, I believe that it's not in the water, because if it was in the water, we would find debris. The history showed us that aircraft that was crashed on any ocean, we found immediately debris. If it's an Egyptian aircraft or French aircraft, a list of aircraft that crashed, and the debris were found. If not the same day, the next day.
All right, so you believe it's on, do you have any idea? So you believed, let me ask you, do you believe there was Iranian involvement, that this Iranian businessman, quote unquote, worked for the Iranian government or works for the Iranian government?
We have bad experience with the Iranian, unfortunately. If you have time, I will tell you the story of September 11 and the involvement of the Iranian with the tragedy of September 11.
Well, if you could do it in a couple of minutes, sure.
Yes, I can. Once we had the September 11, the government of the United States assigned people to be a committee that will investigate the story of the September 11 and who was behind this story. The committee in 2004 visited Hong Kong airport, and they did some work over there. Few days before going back home, they received important information that the American intelligence, they have in a safe of the headquarters of the NSA, the National Security Agency, and they have lots of documents that can prove the involvement of the Iranian in the September 11th. And they found in the documents, when they searched, were looking at the documents, they found that in the 90s already, the Iranian, hello?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay. The Iranian contacted bin Laden with the Al-Qaeda organization. They supplied them with everything they need until they arrived for a point that the organization was ready to attack the United States, and we faced the tragedy of September 11th.
So you're saying that these documents that prove this are in the safe of the NSA today?
Correct. In Fort Rim.
And where is that, sir?
In Fort Mill.
Okay, Fort Mill. All right, let me ask you. So, getting back to the plane, we only have a minute. The Malaysian airliner. So, you believe Iran was involved? I know, obviously, Iran is nobody's friend here. I could tell you that. So, what do you think their plans are with that plane?
It should be hard for me to believe that the current government of Iran, would be involved in this aircraft. That 370 of the Malaysian. But I will not be surprised that because of the way the intelligence of Iran are separated one of from the other, I will not be surprised that one of the intelligence bodies, group of Iranians were involved to...
Okay, and what's their plan with that airplane? What do you think they're going to do with it?
First of all, I think they will land in place that nobody will know where is the aircraft. It will take years, if not more, to find what's happened with this aircraft.
Are they going to use it for terror? Quickly, yes or no?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that.
Okay,
this will be
Isaac, I got to go. Great conversation. Thank you, Isaac Yeffet, former security chief for El Al, on the Steve Malzberg Show.
The Steve Malzberg Show.